Hello everyone, today I wanted to talk about the possibility of new seasonals being added to the game and what exactly they might be. So first of all, what would the possibility be of actually having new seasonals? Now, new seasonals are definitely something that I would really like to be added to the game because they add a lot to the game. They add the actual event itself to the game, which we can expect each year, and a monster for us to be able to breed in a limited time. And of course, we do have the rares and the epics that of course come in a limited availability schedule sort of thing. But seasonals are very special, aren't they, as we all know. They're a unique monster individually, and they all have a separate island that they go to, besides Hula, who also goes to Air Island like to Smoochel. So, of course, we do have all of the magical islands now that don't currently have a seasonal. We do have Gobblegod on Fire Oasis and Fire Haven, and whilst Gobblegod was not the best seasonal, not the best example for what a seasonal should be in the original game, it was cool to see it added, and I do believe it has opened the gates now towards other seasonal events, especially with the magical islands now, where we're seeing a return to the original formula with the breeding stuff and everything. And we all love the magical islands, and it would really help the magical islands, I think, and give them something new if they were actually to get a new seasonal monster or something along those lines. So today I just thought we'd have a look at a new seasonal. The possibility of a new seasonal coming, I do believe, are really high at this point. I believe that the chances of a new seasonal would be pretty high at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up adding one or even more seasonal monsters to the magical islands, because it would make so much sense, guys. It's a formula at this point. You add seasonal monsters to each of the islands and it just works out so well. So there is already content throughout the year on the way, as we all know, so therefore we do have to question whether they actually would add a new seasonal. You also have to think about it as well, guys. We do have quite a few seasonal events now. We have 6 seasonal events throughout the year, 7 if you include Anniversary Month, which of course is a month dedicated to anniversary. I thought as well with Anniversary Month it would be really cool if they actually added a monster to celebrate the game that was available during that time. Now, of course, what island would this monster go to perhaps is a bit up to debate, but I do believe it might make sense for it to actually come to the final magical island that we can perhaps expect this anniversary if the coronavirus perhaps doesn't impact the development behind the game, as we discussed in this video. Make sure to go and check it out. So I do think a new seasonal monster for Anniversary Month would be a really good idea, guys. But of course, we'll have to wait and see what exactly they do. Of course, Anniversary Month has been happening for so long as well. I think it would just add something to Anniversary Month as well, just having a monster available during Anniversary Month. We already have lots of sales and promotions happening in Anniversary Month though, so perhaps I would overcomplicate things if we got a seasonal monster during it as well, but I thought it were a cool idea nevertheless that I'd just put out there. Like I said as well, you have to think about, is there too many seasonal events? We do need breaks in the schedule, and therefore they can't be like a seasonal event happening all the time constantly. Because of course the game probably wants to focus on other things outside of seasonal events sometimes, so seasonal events can't just happen all the way through the year, even though that would be so cool. I do think Feast Ember did show to us though how frequent seasonal events can happen without being overloading. If you have a look towards the end of the year, we definitely saw loads of seasonal events last year. So we literally went from Spooktacle, the Halloween event, straight to Feast Ember, the Thanksgiving event, and then straight into the Christmas event. Yay! So we had a lot of seasonal events happening at once, and they all literally happened alongside one another. And just before the Halloween event, Spooktacle, we had Anniversary Month. So we had seasonal events happening for so long, and I didn't get tired of it whatsoever, guys. And I think that just shows that seasonal events can happen, but again, there does need to be a bit of a break in between them, just so they're not overloading, so that we don't have too many. I think there's definitely a point where there should be no more seasonal events, because I think there's a point where there'll just be too many in the game. So what new seasonal events could we have then? Now, I was thinking we could have a New Year's seasonal event. Now, this one is a little bit off to me. I don't see which island this could particularly suit at the moment, but of course we know that a new magical island is on the way, the final magical island before all the magicals perhaps reunite on the final magical island, as discussed in the video which I mentioned previously. I really think that this could be really cool though. I know that we would be going into what, like 6 seasonal events consistently all at once. We'd go straight from Anniversary all the way up to New Year's with this seasonal event that they could add, but I do think a New Year's seasonal event would be really cool to add to the game. Another seasonal event that I would really like, and I think it's the most likely seasonal event event to be added to the game is a St. Patrick's Day seasonal event. I believe that this would really work well with Fairy Island. Think about it, guys. Fairy Island's thing is that it's like mystical and things, and like leprechauns and things all just suit around the Fairy Island theme. They could add like a leprechaun-like monster to Fairy Island and just fit so well, guys. If they do not add a St. Patrick's Day seasonal event to Fairy Island, I will be gosh surprised because it works out so well, guys. It just wouldn't make sense just not to have it. A St. Patrick's Day event has been called for by fans for so long now, and Fairy Island is a perfect chance for Big Blue Bubble to add a St. Patrick's Day event to My Singing Monsters, and I really hope they do, guys, because Fairy Island would suit it so well. As for what the New Year's monster could look like, it could be like a dragon, I think, to fit with the whole New Year's leap day sort of thing. I know that New Year's is partially like associated to Chinese culture, and when I think of New Year's, I always think of like Chinese culture. So perhaps rather than having a leap day monster itself, because that would only come every 4 years and that wouldn't make sense whatsoever, that's why I've not included that sort of seasonal event on this list. It would be cool to perhaps explore what a dragon monster could look like, but of course, as I've said, I can't really think of an island that this particular seasonal event would suit. So yeah, another one that I think would be really cool, guys, would be a Day of the Dead seasonal event. Now, Day of the Dead actually happens at the start of November, so that would mean that it would happen before Feastember. Now, there is still room for this seasonal event, but like I've said, last year we saw lots of seasonal events happening at once, and if they added this, that would mean even more would be happening at once. But I don't think it'd really matter that much, guys, to be honest. I'm not sure, though. Like, if you had that there, that means that they're going to be happening for so long. If they had it there, then I just feel like it may be a bit too much. I'm not sure, but the Day of the Dead themed one would, of course, go to Bone Island, guys. Bone Island, oh my god, it suits Day of the Dead so well, guys. It's literally such an island that suits the seasonal event so well, just like Fairy Island. And if they don't add this one either, I would be really surprised, guys, because it's literally calling out, it wants a Day of the Dead seasonal event. Bone Island, Day of the Dead, it literally doesn't get any better, guys. Like, that link right there could be so good, and the seasonal event would make so much sense to just add to Bone Island, just like Fairy Islands would with the St. Patrick's Day event. Of course, the Day of the Dead monster would be made up of bones. Who would have guessed? I'm unsure what exactly they could do to make things different. I think they could pull away from aspects of Mexican culture and how they decorate like things to go along with the Day of the Dead event. I think like the flower pattern you see sometimes on skeletons could be used, and it could be really cool to add here. And they could draw some inspiration from films like Coco that explored Mexican culture in more detail. Other seasonal events that I have thought about, but I'm not really going to go into too much detail about because I'm unsure about them, and I don't really think they're that good of an idea, but I'm just going to put them out there anyway. I would really prefer the other ones that I've mentioned so far over these that I'm about to mention, because I think they make much more sense because they're more international, they're more well known about, but I'm going to mention these ones anyway. We could add a Space Day event. Space Day is basically an event that happens that honors people that explore space, and I think it'd make much more sense to add a Space Day event other than other events I've looked at, because I've looked at them and I don't think they really suit the game. But for like a Space Day event, you could have it on Psychic Island. Now, the reason I was actually thinking of this is because Psychic Island is actually in the spot where Space Island originally was in the prequel game Dawn of Fire, so I thought it would make a lot of sense to have a Space Day themed event on Psychic Island. It doesn't necessarily suit the element itself, but I thought it would be cool to add to Psychic Island, and I couldn't really think of another seasonal event to add to Psychic Island itself, and I thought that a Space Day event would tie into it the best out of all of them that I looked at, and it also made sense in terms of the schedule, which we're going to look at in a moment. And of course, the Space Day monster would be based around space and asteroids and things that you can find throughout space and planets, and they could really explore that a lot, and I believe that that seasonal could turn out really cool. Other than that, though, we could also have a Summer Solstice event that could take place in the middle of June. I'm unsure what island this could take place on, but a seasonal event for this would make a lot of sense to me because it's another widely known event. It's the longest day of the year. Anyway, guys, I thought we would now have a look at the actual schedule and what it would actually look like if these seasonal seasonal events were added and the schedule for seasonal events at the moment and where gaps are so we can add more seasonal events potentially into the game. Because of course we can't have seasonal events happening all at once. There can't be more than one happening at once, otherwise it'll get really complicated, guys. Okay, so first of all, in January, we'd have the New Year's one. This would take place from the start of January until the middle of January. Then in February, we'd have the Season of Love one. This would take place at the end of January until the middle of February, as all seasonal events happen around 15 days each. And then in March, we'd have the St. Patrick's Day one. April, the Extravaganza one. May, Space Day. June, the Summer Solstice event. July, Summer Song. August, none. I'm not sure which one to put in here, and I couldn't really think of one. September, Anniversary Month. October, Spooktical. November, Day of the Dead, potentially. Feastember, December, yay. Now, of course, I put it on screen there because I didn't really want to pull out the dates right there, but you can see on screen that the dates are aligned, and this would work out pretty well for them because they would give a bit of a break at some points, and I just think it'd work out. The Day of the Dead one, I'm a bit unsure about. If you think about the Day of the Dead, that'd take place before Feastember, and that'd mean that they'd be all happening consecutively, and there wouldn't be a break, like I've mentioned, so we would have to see how that would work out exactly. I definitely think the St. Patrick's Day and the Day of the Dead ones would be definitely something to add to the game right now. The New Year's one would be really cool. I'm unsure what island that would go to, though, so who knows. But yeah, guys, anyway, that was just me talking about seasonal events. I hope you enjoyed this. I have enjoyed talking about seasonals as well. I would really like to have new seasonals inside of the game, and I believe that seasonals do add a lot to the game, and they add something for players to look forward to throughout the year and something for players to keep on playing for. I'll see you later, guys. Until the next video. Bye.